Hello everyone, this is Caleb TGD and we are going to do a playthrough with commentary and walkthrough of a plus 10 Mists of Tirna Scithe as a Deathstalker Assassination Rogue. So let's buckle in and let's tackle this key. Alright, so the first thing is we didn't have a Tauren and a Night Elf, so we had to come around here. So what I'm doing is I'm ambushing to get my Deathstalker's markup. I'm spreading my Garrotes. I'm also spreading my Ruptures, and then I'm going to Crimson Tempest. I'm going to get back on the main target here, the Villager, and I'm going to start my rotation of Deathstalker's Mark, Death Mark, Shiv into Kingsbane for my full cooldowns. Caustic Splatter is spreading this out. As you can see, we're doing a pretty good amount of damage. Here I'm being targeted by the Overgrowth, and I trusted my teammates to get me out of there because I wanted to save my Cloak of Shadows for the next pack with the Villager here. So that was a pretty dicey one for the healer, but we were able to pull through, no worries. So here I'm doing the same thing. I'm reapplying my Garrotes, my Ruptures, putting up my Crimson Tempest, starting my Caustic Splatter, getting my Deathstalker's Mark out, and I'm back on the Villager. And it's just going to be a repeat of what we did on the previous pack. Now we switched to the Overgrowth target to free our Monk friend here, and we went back on our main target, being sure to reapply our dots. Here we go. We cloaked of shadowed this Overgrowth so we weren't stuck in the seed there. Right, making sure we're getting interrupts. Same thing, keeping dots up. Mutilate, Rupture. And here I did not have a Vanish or a Cloak of Shadows, so I did become a seed, but my team got me out pretty quickly. Alright, just around this bend, I'm going to Shroud us so we can pass this group. We usually don't need it. And then we're going right into it. Deathstalker's Mark up with Ambush, putting my Garrotes up, putting Ruptures up, and my Crimson Tempest, and just starting the Mutilate Caustic Splatter. Making sure I'm taking advantage of those Anima Charge combo points from Resounding Clarity. Once again, we don't have, I believe it's an Herbalist or Night Elf or Tauren to open up the Mushroom Room here to get the buff, so we are going to skip that. I had realized here that the Deathstalker's Mark was on the other target, so I switched over. But these guys were pretty much dead at that point. So here I know that I want a Death Mark and Kingsbane here, so it can be up when the burn phase on the first boss happens. So you want to make sure that you use that 2-minute here, because if you use it on the tree portion of the boss, it's going to be down when you really need it to burn down Ingra. So I use it here. And these guys have big enough amount of hit points that you really do get some good value from it. As you can see, we're pumping and putting in some work. So I do faint during these ground slam AoE pulses because it does reduce AoE damage for us. It's always good to use your cooldowns and your defensives to help out your healer because damage is tuned pretty high, especially for our level of gear. Alright, I'm making sure I'm going back to stealth, and first we are going to attack Tree Guy here. Same thing, we're applying our dots, our ruptures, and they automatically go on the smaller guy. Making sure we're focusing our damage on the big tree dude. You want to avoid these, get out the way. Sometimes I know it's a pain in the butt to sidestep those. You lose up time, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And we are interrupting those bolts there because they hurt. Alright, we are now switching over to the main dude, and you'll see my death mark comes out, Shiv and Kingsbane, and I'm putting full burn phase into him. My monk counterpart here really did some work on it, but we got the majority of our main cooldown into the boss. So right now we're just switching back to the tree, and once again it's a rinse and repeat of the burn phase, making sure that I'm keeping both my rupture and growth up. Of course, slice and dice is automatically refreshed with our cut to the chase passive. So right now we're back on big tree guy. We're pumping into him, making sure we're keeping our dots up, trying to refresh dots on small guy when we can. We do get feared, but our shaman had Tremor Totem. She was doing a really good job. We want to avoid this frontal, of course. And we're getting close to the second burn phase here. And we're back. And we do have at least our Shiv Kingsbane up, so we go right into it. And Venom right away. Start getting the ticking of poison going. And unfortunately, I didn't have an ambush available for Deathstalker's mark on him during that burn phase. So if you're able to save that, then you would definitely get a lot more damage on the small guy. So at this point, the tank called it for us to stay on the small guy. So he was close enough to where we could burn him down. We had about 30 seconds. So easy peasy, first boss. It's just avoiding puddles, making sure you're optimizing your uptime on both bosses, making sure you have both dots up so you can gather your energy resources from the bleeds. Alright, we go right into it. Shadow step, put our mark up, put both our dots up, get our caustic splatter going with Envenom. And of course these guys are annoying for melee because they drop blue stuff everywhere. So we're gonna shadow step across, reapply our Garrotes, we'll echoing reprimand here, and try to get as much uptime as we can. And there's a weak aura that my friend made me download as a joke, and it's actually Zealous House feet, but it actually shows you when you're burning down the orbs when they come out, and once you burn down all 10 orbs, her toes start to sparkle, which I think is pretty funny. So I kept it in for now. Alright, big juicy pack here. Once again, we're spreading our dots, making sure we open with ambush to at least get our Deathstalker's mark up on a chunky target. And we're just avoiding blue stuff here. Here we go. There's our Kingsbane. We got a caustic splatter. Spread that damage out a bit. And you do want to fan of knives on more than 3 targets. 3 targets or more. And mutilate to refresh caustic splatter. Sometimes I forget because I'm so used to mutilating so much. So you definitely want to take advantage of your Clear the Witness buff that you get from our hero talents, which makes Fan of Knives give you additional combo points and buffs its damage. Okay, we have no cooldowns going here, so we're just going to rely on our Corona Rupture, our Crimson Tempest, and our Caustic Splatter. Alright, we do find a target to Deathmark and Kingsbane, because in Mythic Plus dungeons, you don't really want to sit on your cooldowns. You want to use them as much as possible. It's better to use them on trash than waiting for a boss, because you lose so many uses of it. So optimizing how many times you use your DPS cooldowns is really important to get the best amount of damage you can. Okay, this is just a repeat. Once again, we're in the maze. All dots are up. Crimson Tempest. Got a Fan of Knives. We're gonna Envenom. Hopefully get some Poison Bomb. And there, of course, you see Xalatath's feet sparkling because we got all of the orbs for the fix. Alright, and I do use my Kingsbane here. Like I said, you want to just get your cooldowns going. Have them keep on rotating. If it's one thing you want to do or get into a habit of, is making sure that you're cooldowning as much as possible. Sometimes we want to save it for a big juicy pack, right? And things happen in keys where you might not have the ability to use that cooldown because someone died, or you're waiting for someone to come running back after their res, or so it's better to use it than to not use it at all, or to wait and miss 4 or 5 button presses of it within a dungeon. So I see that my death mark is back up, so I shiv in Kingsbane again. Making sure we get all the orbs. I do AoE blind the orbs as much as possible. I do it while I'm targeting my priority target to help out. Sometimes I'll go out and do a kick or a individual kidney shot if I need to. But with certain classes, they can do it very easily. With our monk, he has ROP. Our mage has Blast Wave, etc. So here we go, spreading the dots. Crimson Tempesting. Making sure I get Rupture on this guy so we can start Caustic Splatter. And we did lose the mage here, unfortunately. But we're still handling business here. The monk and I. The mage did pull off some big damage though before he fell. And we have a Great Spirit Link here helping us out. Deathstalker's Mark. It's a nice glowing purple graphic. And we take care of all the orbs here. The main thing with these packs is you just want to avoid the swirling blue circles, of course. You want to avoid getting charged. And you want to kick important spell casts. Alright, we are going into the second boss. Our cooldowns are still down, but we're still going to do our rotation as per normal. So we're going to hold on to Death Mark a little bit because our Kingsbane is down. But now we are able to use it because Kingsbane is back up. And we're able to get a full burn. And we want to avoid the balls that come out of Mistcaller here. My group did a really good job of taking care of the fox, so I really didn't have to worry much, but I always knew that I could rely on Cloak of Shadows or a quick blind or kidney shot to take care of it. Alright, so we go to the odd man out here, which is the full flower here. We burn that down pretty quickly. We watch out for the lines here. Balls are coming out. I got an error in my UI as well as the healer going down, but she had Onk, so we were in good business here. Okay. The DK had grippy hands, so we brought the fox over, but it was fine. We were clear of it. So now this is just a rinse and repeat of dodging the balls. We Kingsbane again for our mini burn. Fox is back up, but it's gonna be Ring of Peace by the monk. And we're avoid here. I got hit. And fortunate for me, I had cheat death. So that pretty much saved my life. And the reason why that happened is because I was looking for the odd man out, trying to figure out which one we needed to burn, and it was right in front of us. Okay, once again, avoiding. We do another Kingsbane Deathmark sequence here. So we're just cycling through our cooldown. So we Vanish Improve Garrote. And we're just chugging along here. Okay, luckily for us, the ad we need to burn down is right here next to the boss, so we didn't really have to move much. Fox does come close, so I move to the other side, and then of course I have to avoid these beams here. Our monk got clipped, unfortunately, but the boss was pretty much dead at this point. All right, we are heading on down here. These pulls can get a little dicey. We unfortunately didn't have anyone to have our save point there, so we had to go right in. Okay, we Deathstalker's Bark from the ambush. We Garrote, Rupture, Crimson Tempest, get our Caustic Splatter up, and use our Kingsbane cooldown here. We had a couple of nice anima charged full combo Envenom here. And yeah, we pumped really good. Got a nice interrupt kick there. You want to interrupt those casts because they do heal the mobs. At this point, the tank warned us of a very dangerous pull. Wanted to make sure I got in stealth, and I wanted to wait till they were clumped up just a little bit before I started spreading the Garrote and Ruptures. So I go ahead and start the process. I do get meleeed, but we go in here. I'm just avoiding the acid on the floor. It's a lot of damage going out here. It's from the poison on the ground. And we move out of here. And I do have poison here. I already cloaked. I tried to faint. At this point, the healer warned me that they couldn't keep me up, but I didn't have any health pots or anything to use. So I unfortunately released. And because we didn't have the save, I had to go through the maze, which was, Yeah, it's a pretty far ride. With the magic of editing, we are back. And since we were waiting for the healer and the mage, the tank decided to pull the small 2-pack here. I did decide to Kingsbane, even though I wanted to wait for the bigger pack, but it's better to have it on cooldown rather than waiting for it, so we can squeeze in extra uses for it at the end of the dungeon. Alright, here we go. I wasn't stealth, so at this point with this pack, I relied primarily on Caustic Splatter and Crimson Tempest to do as much damage as I could. Of course, sometimes you can't always stealth, and that's when you really want to rely on your poison damage to get you through until you do have the opportunity to, because Caustic Splatter is very, very powerful, so don't underestimate it. Alright, we had another big pack coming here. I was able to stealth to indiscriminate carnage, spread all my garrotes and my ruptures, and get my Crimson Tempest up. And we were able to mini Kingsbane into a nice target to get some juicy Caustic Splatter procs. And as you can see, my team, both the mage and the monk, also used all their cooldowns. So that pack pretty much deleted. Alright. Here we go. Same course of action. It's all about the setup for us, right? We're sort of like an Affliction Warlock melee with all our bleeds and dots. Here we go. Xalatath's toes are once again sparkling. We got all the orbs. Right, moving out of the way of poison. And at this point, the monk and I did not have our cooldowns, so we decided to pull a pack here. We were also waiting for Bloodless. So Shadow Step there, open up with Ambush for my Deathstalker's Mark, spread out my Garrote, spread out my Ruptures, and my Crimson Tempest. And of course, we're saving our Kingsbane here because we want to use it for the boss at the end. Okay, the name of the game pretty much with Assassin Rogues is just keeping bleeds up, keeping all your dots up, keeping all your Caustic Splatters up, have that refreshed. Crimson Tempest when it's about to expire. You don't want to spam Crimson Tempest because it's just dot damage, there's no initial damage. Alright, so we go right into it. We have all our cooldowns. Bloodlust is almost there. So open up. We Death Mark, we Shiv, we Kingsbane, Mutilate, start Caustic Splatter. Echoing Reprimand, get the anima charges. Get that nice bonus to getting the Deathstalker's Mark on since they fixed the bug where it didn't work. Now you want to run away from your tank here and you are getting sucked in, so I was just hitting it with a flyaway dagger. Shadow Step in, refreshed my Rupture with the anima charge for a full Rupture duration. And this was just avoiding. And as you can see throughout the fight, I'm using Feint to lower the AoE damage I'm taking to help the healer out. Like I said, you always want to use your defensives. I always try to Crimson Vial when I can. Refreshing Garrote, and Bloodlust goes out. And thankfully here, Kingsbane was off cooldown, so I was able to take advantage of the haste from Bloodlust. Get a nice set of Anima Charge and Venoms running out, throwing my little daggers at it, gain some combo points. I didn't want to Shadow Step because I was scared of the poison, so I decided to just play it safe. Alright, just avoiding these poison pools here. Oof, that was rough there. See, as I faint to kind of stop any more incoming damage from trying to knock me out. Our healer did fall, but we had more than enough reses to bring her back up. Just she was waiting for it to be a safe time to use it. And we do see our monk going down. Right now, I am just going into a full Deathmark Kingsbane rotation. Unfortunately, this is where the boss decided to use that ability, so I wasn't able to really get full utilization of that. Okay, we're just avoiding poison here. Okay, taking advantage of the uptime. The ads are coming, but Caustic Splatter is going to burn them down if they get closer to the boss here. They're running away from the tank to break the chain. At this point, I fainted to help with any AoE damage, and I did Crimson Vial because our healer was down. And of course, they eat it at the end, but at this point, the key expired, so we just had 2% left to get for enemies, unfortunately. But it's the first week and it's a +10, so it was actually a pretty smooth run for the most part. Okay, we end up bringing down these guys here, get our last 2%, and we're finished. For the most part, this key is very timeable if your group is coordinated enough. We only missed the timer by 43 seconds, and that was due to the unfortunate deaths on the last boss here. I think there was about 4 deaths in that fight. And of course, we don't get any loot, but that's fine. It's the journey that is worth it, right? Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope you learned a little bit about Mists of Tirna Scithe.